for the third and final country today. That's going to be the longest of the three of them. Actually, now we're on New Zealand. Thank you. There's just a bed sheet on there. Well, that's not on my bed. As New Zealand is a young country both geologically and in terms of us, as New Zealand was the last habitable place in the world to be discovered. As the first to arrive were the ancestors of Maui. As the first settlers probably arrived from Polynesia between 1200 and 1300 AD, and they discovered New Zealand as they explored the Pacific, navigating by ocean currents and winds and the stars. As some traditions in navigation credited with discovering New Zealand is Kupe, spelled K-U-P-E. And the first Europeans to arrive in New Zealand was the Dutch explorer Abel Tasman in 1642, and that's how we got. And from there, it's why they got some Dutch sounding names. From the Dutch mapmaker who first called it New Zealand. And surprisingly long time, about 127 years, passed for New Zealand was visited by another European in the form of Captain James Cook. He came in 1769 on the first of 3 voyages, and European whalers and sealers started visiting regularly, and then came the traders. And by the 1830s, the British government was being pressured to curb lawlessness in the country, and also preempt the French, who were considering New Zealand as a potential colony. And eventually, at Waitangi on the 6th of February 1840, William Hobson, New Zealand's first governor, invited assembled Maori chiefs to sign a treaty with the British Crown. As the treaty was taken all around the country as far south as the Farrow Strait, for signing by local chiefs, and eventually more than 500 signs. But the Maori didn't exactly come into existence until the Europeans arrived. It actually means ordinary, and Maori use it to distinguish themselves from the fair-skinned people. As Maori came under increasing pressure to sell their land for settlement, and this led to a conflict in the 1860s, as war broke out on the island, as much Maori land was confiscated or brought during after the 20 years of war. And meanwhile, the South Island settlement prospers as sheep farming was established on extensive grassland, and Canterbury became the country's wealthiest province, as gold was discovered in Otago in 1861, and then on the west coast, and helped to make Dundee New Zealand's largest town. And in the 1870s, the government helped thousands of British people start a new life in New Zealand, as railways were built and towns sprang up or expanded. In 1882, the first shipment of frozen meat made it successfully to England, exporting meat and butter and cheese, or chilled, became possible, and New Zealand became a key supplier for Britain. And with the economy based on agriculture, much of what the forest that originally covered New Zealand was cleared for farmland. And in 1893, New Zealand became the first country that gave women the right to vote, as state pensions and state housing for workers were also offered first in New Zealand. And some New Zealand people can be proud of their loyalty to the British Empire, and as they sent troops to fight for Britain. in South African War in 1899, and they increasingly became more conscious of their own nationalism, and they declined their chance to join the Australian Federation in 1901. And in 1907, yeah, I'm good. New Zealand became an independent dominion in 1907. As thousands of New Zealanders served and many died in overseas in the First World War. And in 1915, landing at Gallipoli in Turkey. Turkey is regarded as the coming of age of the country, and established a tradition of the Anzac, Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, a pride of New Zealand's military achievements and his special relationship with Australia. As Anzac Day commemorates the landing at Gallipoli, and is a public holiday on the 25th of April each year. It is marked with increasingly well-attended ceremonies. And to explain the history of the day and its significance to New Zealand, as WW100 has created brief guides translated into 3 different languages so far. As New Zealand troops fought overseas again in the Second World War in support of the UK, however the fall of Singapore shook New Zealand's confidence that Britain could guarantee the country's security, and with the bulk of the forces effectively stranded in Egypt and the Middle East, it was the United States that protected New Zealand against Japan during the war in the Pacific. And keep on side of America encouraged New Zealand to fight both in Korea in the 50s and against much popular opposition in Vietnam in the 60s. Britain joined the European Economic Community in 1973. The precursor to the EU, as New Zealand has already begun to diversify its export trade, but it's losing such an important and assured market for farm products was a blow, as the event encouraged New Zealand to widen their outlook, as they now sell their farm goods and many other exports to a wide range of countries. Culturally, they have become more diverse, and particularly in the 80s, a wide range of ethnic groups had been encouraged to settle in New Zealand, and it is now much more multicultural. According to the data from the most recent national census in 2013, or more recent, 25% of the people living in New Zealand are born abroad, and 15% are Maui, and over 12% are Asian and 7% from Pacific Island nations. And Hindi is now the 4th most common language in New Zealand after English, Maori and Samoan. Moving on to languages and all. As New Zealand has 3 official languages: English, Maori and New Zealand Sign Language, as English is the most widely spoken language in New Zealand, and is a language commonly used in the courts, parliament and the education system and public sector, while Maori and New Zealand Sign Language have been formally designated as official languages and have special status under law, as people have a right to speak Maori and New Zealand Sign Language, and it can be used in legal proceedings with interpreters, as Maori is also taught in most schools and there are Maori emergent educational facilities. And some of the other more common languages are like Hindi, Samoan, Tongan and varying languages from driven from Chinese and all. And moving on to legend, I'm sure you probably know him best from the Disney film Moana, as we're talking about Maui. As Maui was the gifted and clever demigod of Polynesian mythology. I was responsible for the fishing over the North Island of Aotearoa, New Zealand, as after a miraculous birth and upbringing, Miles won the affection of his supernatural parents and taught his useful art to mankind and snared the sun and tamed fire, like he also said in the film. But his most famous feat was probably fishing over the North Island. And despising Maui's four brothers conspired to leave him behind when he went out fishing. And overhearing their plans, Maui secretly made a fish hook from a magical ancestral jawbone. Then one night he crept into his brother's canoe and hid under the floorboards. And it wasn't until the brothers were far out of sight of land and had filled the bottom of the canoe with fish that Maui revealed himself. And he took out his magic fish hook and threw it over the side of the canal, chanting incantations as he did so. And the hook went deeper and deeper into the sea until Maui felt that the hook had touched something, and he tugged gently in from far behind, where the hook caught fast. And it was a huge fish, and together with his brothers, Maui brought the fish to the surface. As Maui cautioned his brothers to wait until he had appeased Tangaroa, the god of the sea, before they cut into the fish. They grew tired of waiting and began to carve it into pieces for themselves. And these are now the many valleys, mountains, lakes and rocky coastlines of the North Island. And to this day, the North Island is known as Moa to Maui as Te Ika Maui, or Maui's fish. And I took take a look at the map of New Zealand to see the fish head in the south and the tail in the north. And the South Island is known as Te Waka a Maui, or Maui's canoe, or Stewart Island, or Rakura is known as Te Punga Maui, or Maui's anchor stone. So yeah, that's how Maui found New Zealand. Yes, yeah, that's New Zealand for you, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. My tablet is concerning me, and yeah, bye for now.